My culture, my time was one of many on earth that used this ability. We even use it now here on the other side. We send our consciousness and we project our energy to see what is unfolding in different areas on earth or with different people that we are connected with, or even different planets, different solar systems. He's even talking about when they are in the spirit world, if they want to check up on different souls from other soul groups to communicate, okay? They, instead of like openly having a conversation right out the gate, they can go and look and do remote viewing to see if they're available or if it's suitable to have a conversation at that time. So this is a gift that is necessary to use, he feels. And the only thing it requires is practice. Today we're going to be talking about ancient civilizations. So that's where we're going. Several months ago, I had King Tut coming around and conversing with me. And I just thought, okay. and then more and more as we came closer to this course starting. So when I tune in to who would like to talk about this, it is King Tut. So that's who I'm going to be channeling today. King Tut, short for King Tutankhamun. He even has a few words to say about Nefertiti today as well. So that'll be exciting. Interesting energy. Different for me. How do I want to explain that? Very poised. How else do I want to explain that? Very, I guess, conditioned, raised and trained to be a certain way. You know how we just grow up and we're like kind of carefree and we run around the neighborhood and we get to hang out with all the kids and we just kind of do what we want. King Tut's upbringing obviously was different and his energy is quite different. So it's really fascinating. I'm also getting that during that time in that culture, there was a lot of incest, a lot of goings on that were not something that we see as commonly as we do now within that top elite culture. Because in order to keep the bloodline pure, they kept the bloodline within themselves, right? Swapping mother, father and daughter, okay? The gist I get from King Tut is that Nefertiti acted as his mother, or kind of was overseeing. He could turn to her to talk to, was that role, but wasn't his mother. And I feel that his parents had an incestual bond, if you want to say, that created him. And if you want to go and do some research with television programs of when they exhumed King Tut's body and also exhumed his father's body, So his father is his also has a condition the same that King Tut has, which are a lot of bumps, like bumps, raised bumps on the backs of their head. You can actually watch that on TV. The other thing that King Tut had was a clubbed foot. So instead of his foot going here, it turned in, and he had to wear a cane. Okay. So there's quite a bit of propaganda that was taking place at this time. If you think about him being a warrior king and always in the battle with the horses on the, you know, the carriage, and but in truth he had a clubbed foot. That is, as the scientists would say, a direct correlation to incest. So when you have the bloodlines for so long, certain things like this will take place. The things that I want to talk about with ancient civilizations are many ancient civilizations used psychic mediums, remote viewing, premonitions to get the advantage on the other side during warfare. Okay. Not only using psychic mediums or remote viewing or premonitions was used, but the other thing that was used at this time, during these times in ancient civilizations, was propaganda. A lot of propaganda, you know, making things seem the way that you wanted the masses to see them, okay? And also the way that you wanted the masses to believe them. And oh, King Tut's just right here putting this in my head. So, you know, there was a time where, you know, if they went off to war, he's talking about going off to war, doing a battle, coming home completely losing, but you celebrate and you put on all the walls and you talk about and you put in a total discussion of winning, even though you completely lost. Okay, so they would use that to their advantage. And there were no cell phones, there was no internet, and many didn't leave their area because it wasn't safe. So, and anyone who made their way out of the area to learn the truth wouldn't dare go against the king because they would be executed. Okay. And he's talking about, so it was very easy to lie and use propaganda in your favor during warfare or at any other time. And the other thing he wants to talk about with Nefertiti is she was a pro at propaganda, portraying the way she looked, making herself look much more beautiful than she really was. So more queenly. Okay, so I'm also getting that. So he's also talking about other civilizations other than, you know, other ancient civilizations that would use what would be termed as like a magical man. Okay, so I'm assuming that's a psychic medium, and that would be used by the Huns. That originated from the landmass that we now call today Mongolia. So they would use a magic man, I guess you could call it, or also known as a psychic medium, in order to get information as to what is about to transpire. He's talking about the Huns being very driven to win at warfare and at anything that they put their hand to, and they won a lot for a lengthy period of time until, for the most part, until their demise. So some of the things that he wants to talk about with ancient civilizations or anything at all, I'll just leave the floor open to him. One thing we can ask him is if there are alien DNA within his bloodline, and he's just kind of chuckling and saying that we have alien DNA in all of our bloodlines. Okay, that's the first thing out the gate. but he knows what we're talking about. Like, did a ET come down and breed with his bloodline? That's what we're really asking. Okay, so I'm just he's just kind of saying that they all bred with each other down his bloodline. That's what happened. That as far as an alien coming in and breeding with them, that did not happen. But he's talking about alien DNA being a part of all of our DNA, being used to. So we're progressing on Earth, we're evolving, we're moving through the lines as one after another, and then alien DNA being used at a certain point, early days, to help move us in a more advanced or intellectual direction. Oh my God, I think he's joking with this, like moving us from being more he's like, and he's even going, like he's making the noises of like an ape or a monkey and helping us move in more of an intellectual advanced direction. Okay. Alrighty. So there's the answer to that. Did aliens or UFOs help you build the pyramids? They built the pyramids, but there was incoming information through psychic mediums and others. Okay, so you know how we're always channeling all the time, right? A lot of us are doing it unconsciously. And so you can imagine claircognizantly, they're getting ideas and information on how to build the pyramids as they're building them. And that was coming from ET races, yes. So they were receiving information from alien races, although they didn't know that at the time. Even with psychic mediums, you guys, what, did you not know where this information was coming from? He's talking about they believed that the incoming information was coming from their gods, their deities, okay? That's what they believed. My culture, my time was one of many on Earth that used this ability. We even use it now here on the other side. We send our consciousness and we project our energy to see what is unfolding in different areas on Earth or with different people that we are connected with, or even different planets, different solar systems. He's even talking about when they are in the spirit world, if they want to check up on different souls from other soul groups to communicate, okay? They, instead of like openly having a conversation right out the gate, they can go and look and do remote viewing to see if they're available or if it's suitable to have a conversation at that time. So this is a gift that is necessary to use, he feels. And the only thing it requires is practice. Is part of your energy here on Earth today as a human? Okay, so in human form. No, not at this time. Not right now. No. But he does visit with his energy quite a bit, and he does channel his energy through other vessels, as he would call that, visitations, often. Similar like with me. But as far as being housed in a body permanently, the answer to that is no. But he does channel through other vessels, yes. Does his DNA still exist today, bloodline-wise? Okay, so he's saying yes. And, okay, so what he's showing me is that they didn't just have sex in their own bloodline. They had sex and procreated in their own bloodline, but they also had sex and extramarital relations outside their bloodline, and had children that were not acknowledged outside their bloodline. I'd say everything was extramarital. Let's have a free for all. Okay, so we need to give that to the angels to transmute into the light. All of it. Give it. Let them take it. King Tut will take it. He'll probably have his team take it. I don't feel like he's going to take it. There's no movement or eagerness of him taking it. I feel like he'll just let his team of angels take it. What is that, too kingly or what? He says he reserves his energy for specific things. Overall things like this, yes, they can take care of, but he gives it to his team to take care of. Kind of kingly. Oh, too funny. I get it though. He's reserving his energy. He doesn't want to waste his energy. And you know, when you look at the angels, you look at Jesus, you look at Mother Mary, you look at Mary Magdalene, I don't see them sitting there worrying and complaining. I don't see them sitting there focusing on the negative things going on in the world. Because A, it would drain their energy, it would lower their frequency, and they are just not going to do that. So remember that. None of them do that. So let's follow their lead. Okay?